Hi and welcome back to Roots. It's really great to have you with us as we explore John's Gospel and learning about Jesus and deepening our knowledge and experience of him. A number of years ago, I was invited to speak at a youth weekend for another church, and it was held up in the Dales. We stayed at a local hostel, and the Friday evening session went well, and in the Saturday morning it went well, and then there were some activities in the afternoon. And I thought I'd get stuck in, get to know the young people and spend some time with them. And so we all went caving in the afternoon up at Ribble Head. So we got all suited up in the wet gear and the helmets, and down we went into the caves with the warning that it was extremely wet because there had recently been some quite heavy rainfall and there was the risk of flash floods. So off we went, excited and a bit nervous, crawling along freezing streams of water, ducking under hanging stalactites, scrambling over limestone boulders and squeezing through narrow gaps. And it was in one of those gaps where I sadly took a wrong turn and my knee got stuck between two rocks. So I tugged and I pulled and I wriggled, and then I sighed as the reality dawned on me that I was stuck. So I called out and a few people came along and they pulled and they tugged and they made numerous suggestions, all to no avail. The longer I was there, the longer I was stuck, the larger my knee was swelling, and therefore the more I was stuck. So eventually the decision was made to call the Cave and Mountain Rescue Team, and this brilliant bunch of people turned up. And the rest of the young people and the leaders had gone back to the hostel, and the rescue team were there with me, and they tugged and they pulled and they wriggled and they made suggestions, and they also revealed their genuine worry that there could be a flash flood at any point. So the suggestion was made that they may have to, if necessary, break my leg in order to get me out of there. So obviously I was a little bit anxious at this, and one of the team, one big brute of a guy, mooted the idea of just one more attempt at pulling me out of the crack in the rock. And so they all gathered together, some in front, some behind, and with a few huge, substantial heaves, my leg finally was released. I could feel the blood literally rushing into my lower leg. It was quite remarkable. And they helped me and they guided me out of the cave, out of the darkness into the early evening Saturday sunlight. I was free and I was rescued, and I was absolutely constantly reminded of it by the young people when I got back to the hostel. Perhaps you've had some kind of experience similar, maybe not in a cave, but have you ever had a time when you've experienced being rescued? It may or may not be as extreme as having to call out cave rescue, or even it could be even more perilous. I don't know. It could be something to do with breaking down in a car or whatever. Within this chapter we're looking at today, in chapter 3 of the book of John, is perhaps one of the most well-known verses in Scripture. It's one that it is often put on banners at football matches. It's seen on billboards and signs and posters all over the world. It's been described as the gospel in a nutshell, John 3:16. It summarizes with great simplicity and power the essence of God's rescue mission to us. And it comes during a conversation with Nicodemus, a Pharisee, and it comes during the night and comes surrounded with some of the most profound explanations of God's love and Jesus' work here on earth. So let's watch the events of this chapter, read the account in John chapter 3, and remember to look out for anything new or anything that strikes you about Jesus, that inspires you, encourages you, or blesses you in what we're about to read and what we're about to watch.